Hi, I'm Lisa DeLang, and I am the Program and Administrative Associate here at the Community Foundation. Today we are going to be walking through our Neighborhood Grants Program. We have been funding the Neighborhood Grants Program for about 30 years. In the beginning, in 1990, there were about 15 neighborhood organizations, and about that same time, SIFMA received a $500,000 from the Ford MacArthur Foundation to support affordable housing. SIFMA began convening housing organizations to promote affordable housing, and we worked with the Rockford Housing Redevelopment Association, Zion Development, Trinity House, Rockford Area Habitat for Humanity, and local realtors to look at ways to promote affordable housing. The foundation awarded $250,000 to 4 neighborhood development organizations from 1991 to 1993, and as a result of the grant, the Rockford Area Affordable Housing Coalition was founded in December of 1991. It became clear to us that there was a need for support for neighborhood organizations to implement grassroots programs that involved their neighborhoods. So in 1995, the Community Foundation established the Neighborhood Grants Program. The original program was started awarding funds to non-501c3 neighborhood organizations, and we funded 22 grants totaling $24,500. Fast forward 30 years, and there's as many as 90 neighborhood organizations. We have made 524 grants totaling almost $800,000 since 1995. And these grants have run the gamut. It's cleanups, newsletters, safety programs, beautification efforts, signage, and community gardens. The key is that it's neighborhood improvement by and for neighborhood residents. We have some important updates for you. The program has changed from a specific application cycle to a rolling application that's open all year until the funds run out. Because the funds are limited and the program criteria are very specific, you won't be able to apply unless you contact me. There's my email and my phone number on the screen to discuss your proposal and obtain a password to access the application. You can receive up to 1 neighborhood grant, up to $2,500 per year. And after you submit your application, you should expect to hear a decision from us within 2 weeks of the submission. Now we're just going to go through our application and walk through that and give you some helpful tips. So you're going to start off at cfnil.org. And this is a very busy screen, I know, but there's a lot of information on our website, and we just want you to know where everything is. Under the Receive tab, you can go to Grants, and you'll find the Neighborhood Grants page, as well as the criteria and the guidelines and information on all of our other grant cycles as well. Same thing in resources. You can go to resources for grant seekers and just get a ton of information. You can go down here to grants. A lot of these lead you to the same places, but we wanted to make sure that it's very easy for you to find everything. And then you can find out what we are doing lately here at the foundation, if there's any events coming up, anything like that. And you're going to apply for the grant by going up to the upper right-hand corner and clicking that black Apply for Grant tab. After clicking Apply for Grant, you're going to land on this landing page. This is the portal that you're going to be using. And if you already have an account, please don't start another one. Just go into that account. If you forgot your password, click the Forgot Your Password link, or give me a call or email and I can reset that for you. Please remember that it is case sensitive. So the email address is going to be your username, and you just need to make sure you're putting that in there exactly the way you entered it the first time. If you don't have an account, go ahead and create a new account. And I always want to let everybody know to do this sooner rather than later. Don't bump yourself right up against a deadline. We will help you in any way we can, but we want to make sure we have ample time to do that if we need to. If you need to create a new account, it is important to get the information right. Once you create this and save it, and you cannot go in there and edit it, you'll have to contact us and we will edit it for you. If you have any questions about this, please give me a call. If you're not sure if your organization has an account, contact me. A lot of times you want somebody new added to it or people have changed, give me a call and I'll make sure everybody who's on the count is correct. This is your portal dashboard. You're going to be able to see your organization history. If you have anything that you need to take action on. This is if you just started, you wouldn't have anything on there. But if you have previous grants from us, you'd be able to see that information here. And I just wanted to point out that this apply button is where you would click to apply. As I mentioned before, you will need a passcode to get to the application. So it's not going to show up like it normally did on the dashboard. You'll call me, let me know what your program or your project is about. I'll let you know if you meet the criteria, and if you do, you're going to enter your passcode into this little circle right here. If you are a reviewer with us, you will have to change your role from reviewer to applicant. And again, like I said, you can see the organization history. If you go down to this yellow box, it'll take you to a couple of videos on the portal and how to do certain things. Some extra information is there, so you should check that out. Once you enter your passcode, you're going to be taken to this page and you'll be able to apply for the Neighborhood Grants Program. You are going to click apply, or you can preview it if you just want to see the questions, but just make sure you remember that the preview mode does not save any of that information. Whoever is going to be the primary contact for this grant should start the application. You are going to be able to add collaborators later on, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. But whoever is going to be the primary should be the one who starts it. We do have a save button there. It's just there for peace of mind. We found when it wasn't there, it really freaks everybody out. They're afraid they put all this work and time into their application and they're going to close it out and it's going to all be gone. But don't worry, it auto saves. But you can click the save button and it'll alert you to any fields that still need to be completed. I just want to draw your attention to a couple special features that we have. This is once you're in the application, and the copy previous answers feature will allow you to copy answers from previous applications that you've had. So you'll click this, it'll give you a list of anything that you've applied for. Choose the one that you would like, and then it'll copy any of the like questions to your new application. You can go in there and edit anything you would like to, but if you have applied for the Neighborhood Grants Program before, especially if it's a very similar program, this is going to save you a ton of time. Even if it's not a similar program, it's still going to copy all of that organizational information over that you would have to answer. So if you've applied with us before, I would say definitely use this. It's very handy and you can just go in there and edit anything that needs to be edited. We talked a little bit about the collaborate feature. This is very helpful if you're going to be working on this grant with more than one person. Sometimes you have somebody in finance that you need to loop in, or you just have more than one person working on this. You can go in there and invite somebody to be a collaborator and then set their permissions so they can just view it, they can edit it or submit it, and you can make those decisions when you get to that point. One thing to remember is that you should not have two people working in the application at the same time if you could help it. If two people are working in there on the same space, somebody's work is going to override the other person's work. So just be aware of that and maybe communicate with anybody else that you're going to be working on the application with. And then we do have a questions list. If you just want to get an idea of all the questions before you start working on it, that's a handy way to do it. Just click the question list and it'll give you everything that's in the application. The Neighborhood Grants Program has a little bit of a more specific purpose than the rest of our grants programs. We don't just want to encourage good work in this program, we want to promote resident participation and leadership in neighborhood-based programs and organizations. We want to encourage and support the work of neighborhood-based groups. That doesn't mean you can't work with an established nonprofit, but we really want this work to be done by the residents in the neighborhood for the neighborhood. We also want you to invest in and build on existing strengths and assets of the region's neighborhoods and promote civic pride in our community. In order to be eligible to apply, you either have to be a 501c3 agency or an organized group carrying out a charitable purpose for the common good. In this case, this is specifically for neighborhood organizations. You'll need to have a minimum of 3 active leaders, and they give the example of the president, treasurer, and secretary. You'll have to have a current checking account in the name of the organization group, and you have to be operated and organized so that there's no discrimination. You'll also need to be located in our service area. That's Boone, Ogle, Stevenson, or Winnebago County. You'll have to have a plan to implement your project that will benefit the residents of a defined geographic area. So we'll ask you for the outlining streets in your neighborhood. You'll have to have the capacity to complete the proposal within 10 months, and you'll need to be current on all final reports for previously awarded grants from the Neighborhood Grants Program. If you're unsure if you are compliant with your reports, please just give me a call and I will let you know. We want to fund projects that are resident-led and build on existing neighborhood assets. We also want to encourage neighborhood partnerships. So if a neighborhood group wants to work with a local organization that's already established or another neighborhood group that is going to benefit both of them, that's great. And we want you to know that the max amount for this grant is $2,500. These are just a few examples of what you can apply for. We see a lot of really interesting things come through the Neighborhood Grants Program. But we have some resident-focused seminars, community gardens, newsletters, neighborhood cleanups, some neighborhood activities and surveys like block parties, crime prevention groups, and then we have some reforestation and beautification projects that we'll talk a little bit more about. If you're going to be doing a beautification project, remember that any permanent fixtures or trees or plants need to be installed on public property or common areas, and you need to have a maintenance plan to take care of those. We don't want you to spend all this time and put all this work in to plant things, and then nobody's thought about who's going to water the plants or weed the gardens or anything like that. So we'll ask you for a maintenance plan. And we want you to also think about, although annuals can be included, they add that really nice pop of color and they're beautiful. It's really nice to have perennials and shrubs that will add long-term beauty to that area. There are a few things that we don't fund. We don't do landscaping on private property. We don't want to fund any activities that primarily benefit non-resident organizations, including nonprofit or for-profit organizations. And we don't fund anything for religious purposes. We will fund a lot of faith-based organizations as long as they apply for a program or project that is for non-religious purposes. So we're going to go over the budget form just a little bit. We have a budget form in the application. We want the revenue to equal the expenses. There aren't a ton of spaces to add items. So if you have items that are like, you can combine those. We're going to have a budget narrative section. And if you have something that costs more than $500, we're going to ask you to get some quotes. And a quote can be as easy as some screenshots of what it costs on Amazon or Home Depot or something like that you'll just add to the application. This is a screenshot of the budget section from our application. You can see it's broken into revenue and expenses, and the revenue and expense totals match. So the first spot that you're going to fill out on the revenue side is going to be your request from us. So you're going to put whatever amount you've asked for from us. And in this case, this neighborhood organization has some money that they're going to add to that pot. So they've added that as well. And then in the expense side, we have 5 spaces. So if you have more than 5 items that you're going to be buying, combine any like items together and you can elaborate a little bit more in the budget narrative section. So you're just going to put all of those expenses in and then make sure that your revenue and your expense totals match. Here's an example of the budget narrative section. You're going to want to list anything on your income or expense items that you had in the budget. And then this is a place where you can add a little bit of explanation or a little bit more detail. You could see here that they had $250 in shrubs, but they broke it down in the budget narrative section. They've also added a little bit of money to cover incidentals, which you can do. We understand that when you made this application, maybe peat moss cost $5.30 each, but when you actually go to buy it, it's $7 a bag. So we don't want it to be too much, but you can add a little bit to cover unexpected expenses here. You're going to have some reporting requirements if you receive a grant. We do have to follow a lot of rules and regulations, especially when we are funding non-501c3 groups, and make sure that we're making sure that these funds are used for a charitable purpose. So you'll have a follow-up form due within 10 months of the approval, and you're going to be using the same portal that you used to apply to complete that form. Remember to keep us in the loop. Sometimes you'll start doing a grant and get into your project, and you realize that you're going to have to change something that was important in the grant. So we can make a grant amendment in that case. Sometimes it takes a little bit more time to fulfill the grant and the program that you were going to be doing. Things can get held up, materials, people's schedules. Just contact us and we'll be able to grant you a report extension. And sometimes you just aren't able to implement the project, and that's okay. Failure is an option here. Please don't worry about it too much. As long as you communicate with us, complete a final report detailing what happened, and return your funds, you're still going to be in good standing with us, and you'll be able to apply next year or for other grant programs. And we want you to share your events and promotional opportunities. We're going to talk a little bit more about that soon, but share those with us. We'll post them to our page. We'll try to show up to them. We want to be involved. As mentioned before, the timeline has changed a little bit on this grant. So the application is going to open April 1st. It will be open all year round going forward until funds run out each year. You should expect a decision within 2 weeks of submitting your application, and you'll expect your final report to be due within 10 months of approval. We know you're going to want to publicize your grant. We will publicize it when it's awarded. We'll put out a press release for it. But we want you to know that we have yard signs. Not all of the programs that you're going to do will be helped with a yard sign, but if it does, we will deliver those to you, or you can pick them up at our office and put that up. It's just a nice little thing that shows that this program was supported by the Community Foundation. We will put out a press release, but you should be encouraged to put out your own press release, and we can provide you with language and a contact list for the media. If you are having a event or anything like that, invite us. We love going on grown-up field trips. We like to get out of the office and see what our neighborhood groups are doing and participate in that excitement with you. If you have a social media page, those are all great places to share your work. Tag us in it, contact us. We'll also share that for you. And if you're going to be doing anything where you're going to make t-shirts or a program or a bulletin or a poster, you can add a little blurb that says that this was supported by the Community Foundation, and we'll be able to provide you with our logo and even some wording if you would like that. Jennifer Smith is our engagement director, and she's the person you would contact for help on anything having to do with publicizing your grant. We just want you to remember that publicizing your grant should be easy, so don't worry about it too much. If you need any help at all, please contact us, and we're more than happy to help you through that process. If you have any questions, then you can contact me, Lisa DeLay. Here's my email and my phone number on anything related to the application or eligibility. If you have any questions on publicizing your grant or getting any of our logos or anything like that, contact Jennifer Smith. And thank you for taking the time to learn more about the Neighborhood Grants Program. We hope to hear from you soon.